afternoon, everyone. As I said in last couple of weeks, we have met so many industry leaders from across the domain and so many insightful discussions that we have been having. And nonetheless, every discussion that we have is actually getting more exciting than the previous one. And today also we have got a very esteemed guest who is actually known in the industry for his revolutionary attempts to popularize one of the most talked about technologies today. And we are really pleased to have him. I actually have to, really take his time out because he's been so busy, and we're really thankful to him that he has taken his time out and agreed to speak on this platform. So we have Mr. Basab Banerjee. Welcome, sir. Welcome to the conversation.
Thank
Mr.
you, Arnav.
Banerjee, thank you, sir. Mr. Banerjee has been in the industry for almost, I think, more than 2 decades right now, more than 25 years of experience in the technology industry. He has been an advocate of blockchain. And in his past role as CTO in Dubai Gold and Commodity Exchange, as his role as an advisor to DMCC to implement, blockchain, his contribution around this area has been enormous in this region. And it is really pleasure to have him out here today and to actually understand, because for us, blockchain actually stops at cryptocurrency. I mean, we don't even think beyond it. And probably most of the people across the country or across the world actually stops thinking blockchain beyond crypto. So we would like to actually hear from you, sir, that what are the other areas where blockchain is actually creating an impact, and what exactly is the future of this whole technology altogether? So over to you, sir. And I know it's a very exciting topic, so I don't want to take a lot of time out here. And I want to actually hear it from your side on this hot topic called blockchain, what we all have been talking and listening about. Welcome to the show, and up to you, sir.
Thank you, Arindam, and great to be connected again. And
Thank
it's a
you.
wonderful platform to share the thoughts with the industry peers and all. And in the same way, we're learning from other industries. You guys were speaking on the similar subjects. So thank you for bringing this on the platform.
Thank you, sir.
It's a difficult time. We all know that in COVID period, living most of the time working from the home and all. So this type of discussion only always motivate us,
Correct.
on that. So fortunately, we have a couple of interesting projects of which we are continuously working on that. And I think I would love to share some of my experience, which I have passed through in the recent past. Maybe it will be interesting for people like you and our viewers. So as you know, I'm coming from mostly on the traditional exchange background. Most of my period I spent working on the commodity derivative equities and exchanges. On the same time, we was studying and trying to implement blockchain on the financial domain. So as you correctly mentioned, the blockchain as an underlying technology, it is beyond crypto. Whenever we talk about blockchain, is first thing came in our mind is that it is the digital currency. It is. I'm not blaming that, because look at the Bitcoin where it is currently. It reached in the May. It is $1 trillion.
Marketed in that way. It's marketed in that way.
So definitely, it's a attractive market, and many people are glued into that. But as an underlying technology, if you look into it's a beyond the currencies, right? So it has it's what the blockchain. It's actually distributed ledger technology. It means that it's a database. It's a database which is in a secure, and whatever ingredients you need for securing data, it is there. And it also talks about permission. So the data which you are sharing from one to other, we need to have sort of permissions. Without the permission, you cannot access the data. So it has consensus. It has more important that the data, once it goes to the chain, it is remain in the chain. So it means that you cannot easily alter that. There's no option that you can alter the data, right? So that is create a enormous advantage. The platform by default giving this functionalities which most of the CIO or CTO needs while designing a solution, where it needs security. It talks about authenticity. It talks about without permission you can change or modify the data. So this platform is giving the data. And we also thankful to the many service provider today, because now blockchain is getting more popular because the providers are providing as a service. Many users or cloud service provider now start offering this as a platform as a service. Okay, so as far as I'm working with the financial domain, so therefore the use cases are many, to be very honest. The post-trade executions are many use cases we have seen that the trade had been executed, and the post-trade executions we're trying to put it in the blockchain. Right. So that is one very interesting use case which we have seen it in the financial domain. Now, let me share a very interesting project which I was working for, last few couple of years, and it's a live project. And I'm very fortunate. I believe that I'm a part of the project. It's a unique project for supporting on agro areas, agricultural domain,
Oh, it's
uh,
interesting.
and specific to the Indian farming sector. If
Hmm.
you study the Indian farming sector, the farmers are scattered and they are small farmers, right?
Correct.
So they have a smaller land and they cultivate the crops which they feel is profitable for them.
Correct.
Now, there is no platform where the user can actually, the bulk buyer can directly source from the farmer.
Hmm.
So you can do that through a contract farming, but otherwise there is no other options. So
Correct.
this platform, what we are trying to achieve there is that why not the farmer can come together and make a sizable contract, which is basically a truckload type. Let's say a
Correct.
truck is load is 5 tons, so they can come out with a contract size of 5 tons,
Hmm.
and they can sell the product while it is in the level of the cultivation. So the buyer,
Correct.
the advantage for the buyer is that they can actually source the crops directly from the farmer, bypassing the lot of middleware or middleman, or which are there generally. Right. Let's say example. You have seen that potato or onion. It is then available when the farmer is selling, maybe in a few rupees. But when the
Correct.
consumer is buying, it goes up in many fold. Few rupees crops or potato are sold more than 10 or 12 rupees, right? I mean,
Yeah,
look
yeah,
at
yeah.
the
Absolutely.
increment that is happening due to the intermediate. So we thought, why don't we can give a platform where buyers can directly source to the farmer? So this use cases, what we try to do is that is a private chain where one node is talks about all the attributes of the farmers, which is farming land, the farmer related information, his bank account, his other card, his what type of land they're using it, what soil is and having it, what crops is in using it. So all those information pertaining to the farmer, so we are putting into the chain, and so it gives complete visibility and transparency when a buyer is buying a crops. Let's say he's
Mm.
buying a 5 ton of crops, which can be supplied by 4 farmers or 5 farmers. The
Correct.
buyer has complete information who is the farmer who is buying it. Okay,
Mm.
so this platform give that the complete understanding that where from someone is sourcing those in the crops. Now, the entire ecosystems, what we have done is that the buyer, when is buying a forward contract, this is forward contract because it is in cultivation level, right? It is not been produced. So when the
Correct.
crops is on the cultivation level, the buyer is buying it by paying X amount of advance money just as a commitment. Okay. The
Correct.
price discovery is a measure mechanism is a auction market where this contract has been first created and putting in an auction where buyer participate and the highest bidder will get the price basically. Okay.
Correct.
So it become more transparent that it is not that buyer has decided where we are buying it, but it is a price discovery mechanism is very much transparent by putting in auction market. Okay. So the
Correct.
highest bidder can get the price in the forward market.
And the
So
farmers are
the
directly
buyer
benefited out of it.
exactly. So it is benefited for the farmer as well. He's getting the
Mm.
best price to this platform. Now the
Correct.
buyer has to pay X amount of money as a commitment, and that money we generally derive based on the volatility of the particular crop. 5 year or
Correct.
10 year yields we take and see what are the
Mm.
volatility, and based on that X amount we produce or say this is a advance money that you have to pay as a commitment. Now buyer will say, why the hell I will pay the money to a third party which are providing the platform? So therefore, we introduce escrow mechanism where the buyer money need to be parked to the escrow. Okay. So
Okay.
if the bank is coming in, so his money is protected because it is storing in an escrow. If the deal transaction has happened end to end, maybe after 1 month, 2 months, or 3 months, subject to or immediate subject to the crop condition, the money will be disbursed to the farmer's account directly.
Mm.
So we have
Mm.
created an escrow account mechanism to bring the complete transparency and to ensure that the fund is secure. Yeah. There is no cash payment in the transaction, so everything is paid by the account pay. And now the another advantage what we are bringing to this entire ecosystem. So one node, we are getting all the information to the farmers. We have created another node which talks about all the attributes due to the transactions. Okay. Now both the data has different value. For example, KYC value, bank need information of the farmer, so they can connect to the one node, get the data. So the objective of this ecosystem was that the, the guys who are consuming the data in the system, like bank need the information about the farmer, about the
Mm.
transactions. So they can consume the data on the chain if they're connected to the chain. So that is the
Correct.
bigger objective of the project. As of now, the bank is still yet to be connected over the chain, but currently is an API. But objective is that at some point of time, they will be consuming the data over the chain itself. We are using
Mhm.
Hyperledger Fabric as a chain there.
Mhm.
So they can easily plug in and they can connect and get the data. Whenever a farmer is onboarded, they get the information. Currently, they're getting through the API. So we are avoiding the duplication of the work by the banks, by doing the KYC of the farmer, because all the data is already there in the system. And as it is blockchain, so therefore, once the
Nobody can
data is,
manipulate.
no one can manipulate those data, right? And if you look into the agricultural sector, the farmers ask go to the bank and ask for a loan, and bank are bound to give this loan.
Hmm.
Okay. Now, this platform, what is happening, and there are certain amount of challenges sometimes by getting this loan back from the
Hmm.
farmer, because
Hmm.
many occasions farmer got default, and when they sold the product, they consume the money, and therefore they don't have additional money to pay to the bank. Now, in
Correct.
this platform, the advantage is that the buyer and seller both are linked to the bank. So therefore, when the transaction has happened and the payments have been disbursed, it is again through the banking channel. And when the contract had been signed between the buyer and seller, bank has complete information. So they don't mind anyway to disburse a loan of X percentage of the transaction value.
So when
Right.
the money comes back, even the bank knows about that the money has come back to the farmer.
Absolutely, absolutely. And when the money is going to be disbursed, bank knows that they okay, this much money has been borrowed by the farmer. They will cut the money and disburse the rest of the money to the farmer. Right. So the
Correct.
ecosystem, what is happening? The farmer is getting benefited because they get the best buyer, the market. The buyer is getting benefited because they get the best directly from the crops from the farmer. So therefore, is the advantage they are getting a better pricing from there. The bank getting benefit because they are when disbursing the loan, because they says that ecosystem have a complete transparency. The farmer is also get benefited because they're getting the approach to the loan. Bank is easy to give them the loan. The fourth part is coming is that the insurance guy. The
Hmm.
insurance, there are two types. One is that willful default and non-willful default. When there is a non-willful default and natural calamities or some issues are coming, those are is a lot of challenge. Now here what happened when the contract had been signed, the insurance guy is also there. So insurance guy have complete visibility of the entire transaction and ecosystem. Okay,
Correct.
so they can also part of that and provide a insurance to the crop with a very nominal charge.
Hmm.
And look at the other ecosystem building on that. There is a ecosystem on the logistic. There is a ecosystem on assessment of the crops. So these are all allied packaging, which is an allied. So these are all coming to the ecosystem. And what I believe that this ecosystem is in helping the rural economy to grow. So
Absolutely.
the underlying technology we put blockchain is a private node, two node blockchain network. One is, as I told you, that for a farmer's attributes to be onboarded. The other one is an attributing for the transactions information. And both the data are consumed by different entities. And ecosystems, everybody is getting benefit on that. The
Absolutely.
biggest another advantage is coming the logistics. So there also are we are expecting talking to the service provider, including provider like DP World is also interested to participate that, and the market size is pretty big. If you talk about Indian economy, which is agricultural based economy, and the market size on organic sector, which is government data, is more than $200 billion market. Agro product.
Correct. Correct.
Actually, it is more than that, but there's the government data, quote unquote. And therefore, the market size is so huge that this is a very big potential for all the participants, to extract the value of that. And the blockchain is then adding this in a value because it is all the data which is going to the system, whether it's a farming information or whether it is innovation informations. Every data is available on an unmutable condition, immutable conditions, and which give the trust with all the buyer and seller and entire ecosystem who are part of that. So this is very interesting use case. Recently, I worked, as you know, I worked as a CIO for another crypto exchange, and we have seen that many such use cases are now coming in, which is
Hmm.
not as a currency point of view, but blockchain as an online technology on the financial domain capacity. Let's say another use cases, which is a capacity. Um, Consortium, they form a people form a consortium, and then you have excess capacity. Let's say you have factory, you produce some excess amount, or you have excess amount of capacity are spent are lying idle, and the consortium is selling their excess capacity in this platform, and using instead of using, let's say, the fiat currencies. So they're creating a tokenized currencies, you know, which can be
Correct.
used and trusted among the entire communities. So we have seen that those type of use cases are also coming in. And another asset classes that we are seeing that, use cases, what we are seeing is that digital tokenizations of the assets.
Correct.
You know.
Correct.
So it's beyond money, beyond currencies.
I think
So
it's a very interesting input out here because I mean agriculture. We have been talking about probably food safety and everything out there, but this is a very different angle altogether. And I think it's a burning topic back in our country today. When you talk about farmers'
absolutely.
protection, we shouldn't speak much about it because I don't know what is politically correct and what is not politically correct. But just on a generic sense, from a technology person perspective, I think this is something which is going to solve a bigger cause and bigger advantage to a segment of people which actually is the maximum number of people and the economy which actually is getting driven by that. And it's just a
Absolutely.
fantastic use case where all the stakeholders getting connected together in a secured way. The way you said, the bank, the insurance, the farmers, the buyers, everybody coming in together under one platform, and that too on a secure channel, and that too on a secure platform which is guided by blockchain. It's a very unique use case that probably most of the countries should look into it. Whoever any country which is dependent on agriculture per se and wants to, I don't know, probably there are people who've already done it, but this kind of thing should be more marketed than only cryptos and only cryptocurrencies been talked about whenever we talk about blockchain. So a fantastic one, sir. Fantastic one, and really appreciate we appreciate bringing out something which is very close to every Indian's heart. Actually, the farming, agriculture, and food probably something which is one of the core things that everybody talks about. And if technology is actually contributing to a transparent platform where everybody is getting benefited out of it, nothing like it. Actually, you spoke about two hot topics, not one. One is definitely blockchain, and secondly something which is actually burning topic in back in our country today. And I think technology has got a big role to play in resolving a lot of things which are actually creating confusions among all the stakeholders within the agriculture industry altogether. I think that was really fantastic. That was really fantastic. So I think that's what we wanted to hear from you. I know it's a very short one because we didn't want to keep it a very long kind of a video, but we'd really like to have detailed conversations, probably customer forums or probably roundtable discussions with customers, with end users, with other industry peers, and probably we can have more detailed discussion around it because this is something very interesting. This is something very exciting, and people are eager to know about it. Actually, people are eager to know more about it. So that's where I think we should try to act upon. So
Absolutely. And
thank
there are a lot of e-commerce business and e-commerce platform which is now moving on to
correct.
the blockchain. We are using it, different asset class. And I think maybe some other sessions we can talk about how the other asset class which is coming in and adding value to these ecosystems. You know, so those would be very interesting use cases which are in
Absolutely.
deployment. I mean, it's not
Yeah,
like
yeah.
not in the deployment in the use case systems. So one good thing what we have seen it, that the adaptation of the technology has been increasing tremendously.
Hmm.
We were just recently reading some post an article and which talks about 2019. The market size and was something on the technology side was around 2.7 billion dollar, and in 2023 this talks about $16 billion market on the technology investment point of view, right?
So many
So
fold has
the
grown.
adaptations, yes, adaptations are going more. A country like UAE, we have seen that a lot of use cases, and the
Correct.
government is pioneer on adopting
Blockchain.
on blockchain technology, which is on the government sector, which is another interesting sector, definitely predominantly using it in here. So financial domain, the government sector, the healthcare industry, as we all know, the agriculture, as I have shared the use cases. So there are plenties of use cases which are deploying. The good part is that the number of use cases now converting as the deployment is increasing, right?
Correct.
And that's
Correct.
a big success story of that. So I think
And I
that is
think
a
yeah, yeah. Please.
yeah, I think it's a very good future of this underlying technology, and more and more use cases will come in, which is practical. It is not necessary that everything can blockchain. No,
Hmm.
it not necessary that every project can come and add value to the blockchain. But where the multiple people are engaged and they're talking about trust by the key primary factor, then this can bring a lot of revolutions. Whether
Absolutely.
it any asset class, it can be car, it can be your house, or any other documentations which need multiple people to be engaged, and transparently move from the one system to other system. That can be a lot of use cases, and I'm sure we can discuss something in other some other day.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely. And thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming and joining in this conversation. Would love to keep talking about you. I mean, we all keep on looking up to you whenever you have actually done something in the industry, and we'll definitely keep looking up to you to discuss more on blockchain in future conversations. So thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for coming and joining this conversation, and we really appreciate it. And all the best for all the ventures that you are up to right now. And I personally know the kind of ventures you are in. So all the best for it, and we will keep talking, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Arindam. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure talking to you, and be safe,
Stay safe,
and
sir.
uh,
Thank you.
and continue doing the good work.
Thank you so much.